Some of it was, really good defense. I think the switching, got us off our rhythm a bit. They're a really good defensive team, so I would give them credit. They've got size, positional size across the board, length, ability to switch, 1 through 5. So I think that did disrupt us. Other than that, I think, he missed some shots he made, two nights prior. So you're going to have nights like that. I think we got a little frustrated with the lack of calls, maybe, whether that's warranted, but we let that affect us.
I think it was Will who said that he wants Jordan to take more thoughtful shots, is how he phrased it. Given your guys' part in terms of mitigating the defensive pressure on him, in his part, how do you kind of teach a player or tell a player to make more thoughtful shots without totally reining him in? Because clearly he is a guy who likes to.
Well, he's a volume guy. But I think he's been around long enough, I think, to know if he's got a rhythm and, he's made a couple threes and he's made some tough shots. He understands he has a license, maybe to take another one, but feeling the balance of tough contested ones versus getting to the rim, get to the free throw line, or worst case, just collapsing the defense and finding the open man. There's a balance to that, and I think he knows and understands the difference.
What do you want to see from his offense, from him as a player this year, generally?
Just efficiency. I think that's a big thing for him. He's going to be on the game plan quite a bit. The team's going to try and take him out of our actions. They're going to show him different looks. That part might be a little different for him. He's played with some high-caliber offensive weapons who've probably garnered more attention in the past. So this might be a new space for him. But at some point, just having the comfortability of reading the situation, assessing coverage, trying to find ways to exploit it.
JP and Gallo are literally some of the most accurate free throw shooters of all time. And I don't think Shamet's too far behind. Having 3 players like that in your rotation, how will that kind of factor into the strategy? Will there be an impetus on getting to the line more?
Well, in general, yes. I'm not going to say just for those 3. Ideally, those 3 involved, and you're coming away with really efficient numbers. But that it ties into kind of the shot profile we talked about. Getting to the paint, the rim, that should get us to the line as a byproduct, but also should collapse defenders and hopefully once again open up the threes we're looking to create. So it's going to happen, and I think Jordan, more so than those other 2, he has a propensity to do it off the bounce, which is a strength. He's shown that to us in the past, so that's going to be good for us.
With him, because he will have the ball in his hands, is it a matter of kind of trying to incorporate some of the tricks that guys like Harden and DeRozan employ?
A little tougher probably now than in the past, the way the rules have changed. They're tightening up some of the, they're going to call it flopping, or the games within the game. So there might not be as much advantage to that. We don't want anyone playing for fouls. Just get downhill and go score. If you get fouled, great. When you start kind of playing to get fouled, I think that's where it kind of gets away from you a bit.
When do you anticipate the team will finalize its regular season roster?
I don't know the exact date. Obviously, we got to do that soon. I would assume probably by Monday. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What factors do you think will determine the success of this team this year?
Well, most of them will be the ones we can control. There's nothing we can do about the rest of the league. We're just going to make sure we're playing the right way, we're competitive, control, our tempo, control our shot profile. Those simple things I think we can look at internally. But bottom line, I can't tell how defenses how to guard us. So we have to be able to respond in kind and continue to play the way we want to play.
Coach, when Jordan Poole's shots don't fall like they did against Toronto, how does that impact the way you coach the team?
I can't say it impacts a ton. It goes back to whether those shots are quality or not. And that goes for everybody. If we're generating looks we're trying to create and they're high efficiency, then it's fine. Now, if it doesn't work, we want to obviously try something different, but I don't want to hinder anyone's aggressiveness. If they're playing the right way, we're playing with the right purpose, then keep doing it. Eventually, I think the odds tip in our favor.
What you've seen out of your team so far during the preseason, the first regular season game on Wednesday. Do you feel like this team is where you want it to be heading into the start of this regular season? Do you feel like there's still some kinks to come up?
Oh, there are always some. You know, as coaches, we want it to be perfect. It never will be, but you know, overall, we've progressed. We're trending in the right direction. I think defensively, we're showing some good things. You know, once again, cleaning up some of the levels of communication is going to be an issue probably throughout the year. But schematically, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Our overall shot profile has been great. You know, whether those shots are going in or not. But cleaning up the transition defense, cleaning up the defensive glass, two areas that kind of hurt us all preseason, those have to improve.
Starting a lot of games at the start of the season on the road, is that going to be a tough task for you guys, a team that's trying to figure out, you know, new pieces and all that stuff? Jordan Poole here and some new guys, as well as some guys like
Potentially. I mean, you don't want to get too wrapped up in home or road. And that goes back to being able to control what we can control, and that's our process. You know, whether it's the way we prepare, you know, our game plans, the way we present, you know, information to our team. All that's got to stay in kind. And the other stuff it'll figure itself out.
Wes, did anything surprise you about Jordan's game now that you know him fairly well-ish?
I think he's, you know, we talked about the leadership piece before, but I think you know, on and off the ball, you know, figuring out exactly where he's most comfortable and challenging him in those areas. We're being able to run the team and organize us. He's done it in spurts. I think just getting him more comfortable in that area.
You mean it surprised you how comfortable he was on the ball?
Yeah, now it's just more so learning what we're trying to do and now him able to orchestrate and get guys to the right spots.
How are Landry and Johnny progressing, and what are they able to partake in right now?
They were not participants today, but you know they are progressing. Obviously, AG was a partial participant. He's getting a little extra conditioning today, but both trending in the right direction.
You expect to have Kuz on Wednesday?
I hope so.
What have you seen out of Kuzma as he's trying to get ready for Wednesday?
You know what? He's been solid. You know, I know he's missed 2 games in the preseason, but the habits, the practice habits, the leadership piece is he's picked up in that area, and I think he's trying to lean into his teammates, and try to play the right way and defend at a high level. Those are 2 priorities that he spoke about, and I think those are 2 things that are going to be critical for us all year.
Obviously, it's tough not having him on the court, but from an aspect of trying to gain chemistry with Jordan and some of the new guys, is that a concern that you feel like might trickle into the start of this regular season?
I don't think so. They've appeared to create that synergy off the court. In between drills, you can tell there's a connection. There are a lot of new guys, a lot of new coaches, so there's going to be a little bit of a lag in our overall on-court synergy, but from the personal or interpersonal dynamic, it seems to be in a good place.
What is Kuz's injury?
He just had a calf contusion.
Said ow, sorry.
Oh, ow.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Yes, a calf contusion.
Well, you said ow?
I said ow, that hurt.
Yeah, that could hurt.
Yes. So it's really not, I guess, an injury. It's more of a impact issue. It's real sore, but nothing to prohibit him at this point.
Better that than a strain or
For sure, absolutely.
Until you have contusion yourself.
I've had plenty of contusions.
Very painful.
Besides Landry, Johnny, and AG, everybody else was able to practice fully?
Yep. Everybody else was a participant.
Indiana on Wednesday. I know the preseason just ended, but what is it going to take to start off 1-0, I guess, against Indiana on the road?
Well, they're going to be a tough challenge. They move the ball exceptionally well. It's not necessarily pace in the open court, but the pace in the half court. They've got volume, 3-point shooters, dynamic backcourt between Halliburton, Hield, Mathurin. They're going to put a lot of pressure on our perimeter defenders. Thus, prioritizing the paint, we got to be in the right spots because they're going to put a lot of pressure on us.
You mentioned, shots falling, shots not falling, whatever. Jordan putting up 41 in a preseason game. I know that's not doesn't go on the stat sheet for anything for regular season purposes, but are you confident in those guys like Jordan taking a lot of the shots, whether they're hit or miss on some days?
Yeah, no, I think he's got to have an aggressive mindset. I mean, it's not always aggressive to score. You got to take what the defense gives you, and if you get a game going and get a rhythm, by all means, ride the wave. But If it doesn't work, you got to find ways to keep your teammates involved and put as much pressure on the defense in other ways. You're cutting, spacing, driving to collapse, the defense. Those are all ways you can help orchestrate offense for your teammates.
You talked about the defensive rebounding. Just what area is it? The bigs, the guards, everybody involved?
It's everybody, and we don't have a ton of size or length, so it's got to be a collective mindset. It's not always fair to just blame the fives and blame the bigs. Oftentimes they're in help situations, so we're in scrambles and X-outs. That ball goes up, the nearest guy just has to have a hunt and hit mentality. And on the flip side, we've played two teams in the last two games that are dominant in that area. So truly a test and probably a little bit more exaggerated, hopefully, than normal.
In terms of the intensity of practice today, did this look more like a regular season practice or a little bit more like a training camp practice?
It was still a lot of teaching, a lot of cleanup, still in the implementation phase. We want to make sure we have, everything we need before Wednesday. We're not going to have everything we want. I don't think, any of the 29 other teams will either, but it's still important for us to walk into Wednesday evening prepared to see just about every situation we may see.
How are you feeling, Kuz?
Good. I practiced today for the first time since having a little injury, but I feel fine. Just a lot of precautionary things going past two games didn't play. So.
Wes said it was a contusion. When did you feel it first? Or what happened?
It was an after practice thing. We were playing one-on-one. It was the day actually JP put it through Danny's legs. It was your video. And then I got kneed, so no more one-on-one for me.
Do you expect to be able to go Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What did you think of Jordan Poole dropping 41 when you were watching? You weren't able to play in that game, but what were your thoughts on that?
He's an electric scorer. He's a really rhythm type of guy, so didn't really surprise me because I know his capabilities. With him, it's all about being consistent and making others better because we know he can score, and we need him to score night out because that's going to be a huge emphasis. But just doing it consistently, having the same habits, those things matter. So.
A lot of people have mentioned his approach to the game. How would you describe Jordan's approach? People mentioned his work ethic, but what do you see?
He's very inquisitive, and he asks a lot of questions. He watches basketball, so that's naturally the first step. And you could tell just because the questions that he asks, and he just cares about his development, and that's important, especially for your franchise type of player. Asking questions, watching basketball, those things are important.
He's a guy you've watched on TV a million times just because he was with the Warriors. Did anything surprise you about his game or how he goes about his work?
He's so shifty. I think that's one thing that just pops out of the film when you watch him naturally. He has a certain type of spunk to him when he play. He has the ball in his hands and
flaps a lot.
He flaps a lot, a lot. Yeah.
That's my analysis.
Okay, like that analysis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What have you learned about the process of developing chemistry with new players through the few games that you guys have played together?
It starts off the floor. I think when you're cool off the floor, you can have difficult conversations when you're on the court. So naturally, I think that's one thing, and then, just figuring out everybody's strengths and what they want to do, and vice versa throughout the team. And I think that's something that will help us. I think sometimes, especially in those first two games, integrating Danny back into the lineup. He hasn't really been with us all preseason from open runs and a little bit of the 5-on-5. And you could tell a little bit in those type of certain lineups. But for us, it's gonna be a little process, and it's okay. So.
What factors do you think will determine the success of this team this year?
Our habits. It's not about the win and loss. It's more so about how we're preparing every day. You guys hear Will and Winger say it all the time. It's about our approach and how we come in every day, how we play every day, our competitiveness every day. And then when you stack those up, we're gonna have our chances, and in the season to win games. We're going to be in a lot of games, just the way we play defense. I think preseason really showed that we could be a really solid half-court defensive team when we're playing the right way and how we want to play. You know, our biggest thing is right now is communication, just like a lot of young teams. So.
What have you been doing to get yourself prepared? I know you've obviously been out the last couple of preseason games. What have you been doing personally to get prepared so that you can be on the court for the season opener?
Just rest my body, to get my calf as much as I could right, and I think I'm at a good place right now. Practicing and running up and down. I haven't ran up and down in like 4 days, so that was good today, and that's the biggest thing with me, you know. So.
Coach mentioned, obviously you've built relationships with Jordan Poole and some of the guys that are new coming in, but missing those preseason games, do you feel like there might be a slight hiccup in the first game or maybe those first couple of games just because you've been out personally, or do you feel like you'll be able to come in and everything will be able to gel pretty well?
It'll be able to gel, yeah. I've been playing basketball for a little while, so I have a lot of teammates in my life, so I can plug and play.
I asked Wes about generating free throws in the context of you guys having some players who are historically accurate at the free throw line. But as a veteran who would like, I'm sure, to generate more free throws, how do you see sort of the new rules as affecting that? Because he brought up how it's a little bit different than it was in the past.
Well, I've been studying the, you know, how to get to the line more. That was a big emphasis on, you know, my game this summer because, especially now, somebody's got to get to the line on a team. Every team has somebody that gets to the line a lot, and I think I'm at the stage of my career where I've studied enough to understand it a little bit. If you look at my free throw rate in the 2 games I played, it was pretty good. So just getting to the line and understanding angles and when the defense is illegal, you know, I think I'll be pretty good in that department this year.
One player who came in off the bench in a couple games and really stood out was 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗡.
Yes, sir.
What have you seen from him in games and in practice?
That he needs to be in a rotation, for sure. I think he's a player that plays hard. He doesn't care about, you know, the ball, but the ball always finds him somehow, some way. And, you know, whether that's cutting, him driving, you know, he's a dog defensively. He plays super hard. You know, he's an Oregon Duck, and that's how Oregon players kind of play. And you know, he's a proven NBA player. You know, I'm not so sure about, you know, him being a two-way guy much longer. So this is my opinion. Yep.
What'd you think of Corey's dunk?
Corey's dunk? Not surprising. It's
I thought you
surprising.
were about to be like, not that great.
No, it's not really surprising. I've seen him dunk a lot, and he doesn't like it when people call him sneaky athletic because, you know, it's like a white man can't jump thing. But he's actually really athletic. I've seen him do it many times in transition. Not in half court, but transition. So.
Indiana on Wednesday, what's it going to take for you guys to start 1-0?
Attention to detail coming in. Indy's going to be a sleepy team in the NBA this year, I think. They got a lot of chemistry, camaraderie. They brought the same kind of team back. Tyrese Halliburton's a great quarterback for them. So, you know, it's going to be a fun game, and you know, the season's here, so it's great.
You mentioned sneaky teams. What's it going to take for you guys to kind of get into that conversation and you know, surprise some people? Is it important for you guys to start this season off strong to kind of catch people off guard that might not think that you guys are a team to look at or take serious?
We gotta focus on us. You know, it's not about. I mean, I get what you're saying, starting strong, but for instance, we started strong the past 2 years, 10-4, 5-1, and look how that happened. So I don't think it really matters. It's a long game, it's a long season, and for us, we need to focus on our habits. And if we focus on our habits, it's going to give ourselves the chance every night. And you never know what can happen in the fourth quarter.
A lot of road games to start this season off. Is that kind of a disadvantage, especially for you guys, a team that's trying to kind of gel and figure out kind of what the identity of this team is to start on the road so many times?
No, I think you get closer on the road because, you know, you're on the road with each other. You know, you don't have your families, and, you know, it's the boys' time. So.
What'd you think about Jordan's sidestep three against the Knicks?
It was amazing. I think you look at my stories all the time, right? I think it was good, though. I mean, obviously, it was a tough shot. Shit. Not too many players can make that shot. So,
What'd you make of the whole, like, Denny and Jordan thing that Twitter kind of ran with? Much ado about nothing, or?
nothing at all. I mean, Denny was probably just a little frustrated. We all get frustrated. It's okay. You know, you just can't show your emotion. But, you know, it's all love.